If you thought Canada's priorities couldn't sink lower, this story will make you sick. A Canadian father walked into an ER with chest pain. He waited 8 hours. He was given Tylenol. Then he collapsed and died in the hallway. No stretcher, no doctor, no crash cart.
Prashanth Sreekumar will never forget watching her husband die.
He was gone. Because I was slapping, Prashanth, wake up, don't.
Last week, 44-year-old Prashanth went to this Edmonton ER complaining of chest pain. His family says he was in the waiting room for more than 8 hours and died from an apparent cardiac arrest.
His wife stood there and watched him die on the floor of a major Canadian hospital. And after, she said the quiet part out loud. They killed my husband.
He was sitting in the triage complaining of constant chest pain.
This video captured by family friends. The family says Prashanth's blood pressure was high and his pain was getting worse. They believe he was not triaged properly.
I said, my husband is having severe chest pain. How long is it going to be? I want to know what was more acute there. I want to know what was more acute there than Prashanth.
His name was Prashanth Sreekumar, 44 years old, a father of 3. He did everything the system told him to do. He felt chest pain. He went to the ER. He begged for help, but help never came. The cause was cardiac arrest. The cause of death was the wait.
This emergency physician says hospitals are stretched past their limits.
When they go with a loved one with a problem, are they going to wait 12 hours and die, or are they going to end up at a closed emergency department? It's an inescapable conclusion that Canadians' confidence must be rocked by all of this.
And while his family was begging for someone, anyone, to show up, Ottawa was wiring $2.5 billion out of the country. No 8-hour delay, no please take a seat, no hallway, just money. Moving fast to Ukraine, not to fix the ER that watched a father die on the floor, not to hire a second doctor for the night shift, not to open a single extra bed in that hospital. Speed for strangers, silence for citizens. Politicians tell you the system is overwhelmed, under strain, underfunded. But the truth is simpler and darker. This wasn't a shortage, it was a priority list, and you weren't on it. And most Canadians have no idea it's already happening. In the next 60 seconds, you'll see how a Canadian father died in a hallway, where billions of your tax dollars really went instead.
Why stop giving them money?
Well, this weekend we announced that we're going to give a further $2.5 billion to Ukraine, in Canadian taxpayer dollars.
We got a little clip here from Mark Carney handing out another bag of cash.
And the one question that now decides whether your family survives this system. But before I show you that, I want you to feel it. Because Canada is not broke. Canada sends more than $6 billion a year in foreign aid. Money that doesn't just go to war zones or disaster relief. It flows into global pools and programs that have sent millions to China, Iran, even Russia. Yes, the same Russia we sanction. Yes, the same China your government calls a strategic threat. They get the check. Your father gets a plastic chair in a packed waiting room.
Patients who come to the emergency room who need to be admitted get stuck there.
No answer will dull the grief for a man this family called their superhero.
My middle son cries every night. His bedsheet was soaked in tears. And my youngest got up and today he said, I want to go to daddy.
Let's be clear. Foreign aid itself isn't evil. Canadians are generous. We believe in helping when we can, but help starts at home. And right now, home is bleeding out in the waiting room. Across Canada, ERs are collapsing in slow motion. In Winnipeg, 82-year-old Genevieve Price waited more than 30 hours in the ER. She died of multiple organ failure. She never saw a doctor. Last year alone, at least 15,474 Canadians died while waiting for surgeries or scans. And that's just the provinces that gave full data. When you include the missing provinces, the real number is closer to 28,000. 28,000 people waiting on lists, waiting on callbacks, waiting on a system that never showed up.
Data shows wait times across the country are getting higher. The numbers are stark. PEI's hospital with the longest wait is 5 hours and 19 minutes, and it just goes up from there, all the way to 13 hours and 3 minutes. Behind the data, there's damage.
8 hours and 22 minutes. What does that length of time mean to you?
It's a number I hate now, and it's 8 hours of 22 minutes that Finley had to suffer.
In February last year, 16-year-old Finley Vanderwerken had severe abdominal pain. His parents rushed him to the nearest emergency room in Oakville, Ontario.
I was so scared. I was just full of fear and wanted Finley to get seen immediately.
Finley was triaged at level 2 on the Canadian Triage and Acuity Scale, meaning his case was emergent. Guidelines say he should have been seen by a physician within 15 minutes. Instead, he waited for hours. By then, he went into cardiac arrest. His organs began to fail.
You want your kid to be the miracle kid. And asking, is there a chance of a miracle? But there wasn't.
Since 2018, about 74,700 Canadians have died waiting for care. That is more than the number of Canadian soldiers killed in World War I. Let that land for a second. More Canadians killed by waitlists than by one of the bloodiest wars in our history. And while that was happening, Ottawa was signing more checks. $4.85 billion in loans to Ukraine in a single year. Billions more in military and humanitarian support. Roughly $7 billion a year in foreign aid programs. Money to rebuild other countries.
We got a little clip here from Mark Carney handing out another bag of cash.
We're announcing today further economic assistance for Ukraine. $2.5 billion that helps unlock financing from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
Last year, the median length of stay for patients was 8 hours and 13 minutes, meaning half waited even longer.
While our own hospitals can't keep enough nurses on shift to get a man off the floor, some of that money even went to regimes most Canadians would never choose to fund. Over $7 million in Canadian aid has gone to China in recent years. Iran has received Canadian-funded projects. Even Russia has appeared on aid lists through global funds. You didn't get a vote on that. You didn't get a survey asking if you'd rather fund a hospital bed in Edmonton or a program in Beijing. But your taxes answered for you. This isn't mismanagement. It's neglect disguised as compassion. They call it helping the world. But at home, Canadians are dying in hallways. Right now, more than 150,000 ER visits every year end with patients leaving without ever being seen. Some walk out, some go home and hope it passes. Some never wake up again. Wait times are up 15 to 30% across provinces. ERs are activating diversion protocols, code for we're full, go somewhere else. But what happens when everywhere else is full too? That's what's happening in rural Manitoba, in Nova Scotia, in Northern Ontario. No space, no staff, no second chances, and still, the money flows outward, not to keep a trauma room open, not to fund a second doctor at 3 a.m., not to make sure a father of 3 isn't dying on the floor in front of a vending machine, but to buy credibility in rooms you'll never enter, to impress people you'll never meet. In countries you'll never visit, you are not underfunded. You are unfunded. So here's the question nobody in power wants you to ask. If we can move $2.5 billion overseas with no debate, if we can send $6, $7, $10 billion a year beyond our borders, why can't we move one doctor down a hallway? Why can't we get one stretcher under a man with chest pain? Why can't we keep one Canadian father alive? This isn't about money. It's about choices. And the choice has been made. You are not the priority. You are not first in line for care. You are not first in line for funding. You're not even in the room when the decisions are made, but you're in the room when the consequences arrive. Sitting in the plastic chair, holding someone's hand, watching the clock, watching their face change, and realizing no one is coming. You're told to wait, then to wait some more, and slowly. You stop asking how long it'll be. You start wondering if they'll make it at all, because this system doesn't need more time. It needs proof you'll keep waiting, and it has it over and over and over. Prashanth, Genevieve, Charlene, Allison, different provinces, same story. Begging for help, getting silence. And it could be your family next, because the system isn't collapsing. It's adapting to serve something else, to protect someone else, to keep the headlines clean while the hallways fill up. This is the part where you're supposed to be reassured, where a minister holds a podium and says, we're investing more, we're hiring more, we're fixing it.
They believe he was not triaged properly. Grey Nuns Hospital is run by Covenant Health, which said it could not comment on specifics, including the circumstances around Prashanth's death. Now, the province has ordered a review. Alberta's Minister for Hospitals said the agencies involved will jointly review the circumstances and potential contributing factors.
I said, my husband is having severe chest pain. How long is it going to be? I want to know what was more acute there. I want to know what was more acute there than Prashanth.
But look around, is it getting better, or are we just getting used to it? Another life lost, another apology issued, another review launched, then the headlines move on, and the system goes quiet until the next hallway, until the next body. They don't wait 8 hours in ERs. They don't lie on the floor whispering, "Don't let me die here." They don't beg for stretchers, for nurses, for oxygen, but you might, your parents might, your kids might, and when that moment comes, you won't be thinking about geopolitics, you won't be breaking down budget lines. You'll be praying for one thing, someone to show up. So let me leave you with this. We live in a country where the ambulance might come too late, where the ER might be full, where your name might never be called. And when that happens, all the taxes you paid, all the speeches you believed won't mean a thing. What will matter is whether you knew this was coming and whether you were ready, because no one is drafting a brand new policy to save your father. No one is building a hospital wing fast enough to save your daughter. No one at the top is saying this has gone too far. To them, it hasn't. The system is working exactly how they built it, and it has already decided who's worth saving. If you're still waiting for someone to fix this, stop. The people who let it happen are not coming to save you, so what now? You tell someone, you send this to the person who still thinks it's just about budget cuts, who still thinks it's rare, who still thinks it won't happen to us, and then you look at your own life, your own family, and you ask one question. If no one's coming to help us, what are we doing to help ourselves? Not next election, not next decade. Right now, you don't shut up about it. You don't normalize it. You make sure one more person sees what you just saw. Protect your family. Protect your future before your hallway becomes their story. Because if you've made it this far, you already know you're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You're just awake. And that might be the only thing left between you and the hallway.